Welcome to our live stream of high school sports. Please note that this broadcast is produced by an independent team of sports enthusiasts, and the views, opinions, and commentary expressed are solely those of the commentators and not representative of the schools, teams, or athletes featured. While we strive for accuracy, occasional errors or misstatements may occur. This stream is intended for entertainment and educational purposes only. Thank you for joining us and enjoy the show.
Yeah, come on, let's go. Hey, you ain't never seen nothing like this. Ain't no telling how it might get. It's the hype list right here. High school sports at its finest. So many highlights, you have to rewind it. Hey, Stream City, let me just remind ya. The heart of a lion, a team full of fighters. So many stars on the field, it'll blind ya. They're giving everything they got till the time's up. Yeah, legends in the making. History is made. We just getting started. You ain't seen a thing. YSN, gotta know the name. They gon' bring the flames. They gon' do their thing. Take it to another level, don't hold back. High school, got a passion and we show that. Got the drive and you know they got the heart. #1 spot for your high school sports. Let's go for the win. Hey.
Hello, everybody, and welcome inside a Wednesday episode of YSN Live, brought to you by our good friends over at Toyota Warren and Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. We'll hear from them a little bit later on in the show. We got a good one for you today. I'm with you. DJ Yoakley has the day off. He's getting some doctor appointments fixed up. But we do have a great show nonetheless. It's Running Wednesday. You know what that means. Our guru from Boardman, Rick Seipert, is coming on with us to talk to us all things track and field. And it's been a minute. We had a week off after we had him on for the first week. So we've been getting a lot of messages about getting Sipe back on. We're like, where's Sipe? We miss Sipe. We got a little taste of him. And now we got to get him back in the fold. So, Coach Sipe, how we doing, buddy?
Life's good, man. It's a good day for doctor's appointments too. I'm in between a couple of them myself today, so I'm coming to you live from my home today.
Yeah, we were like, that's not a classroom back there.
No, I promise I'm not skipping. I'm in between.
No one from Boardman better be watching right now.
No. I filled out all the proper paperwork. I'm all good to go today. How's it going?
Coach, we are going to talk everything that's been going on in the track world the last couple of weeks. But first and foremost, we have a great interview for you today with someone that I know you've talked about a lot both years we've been doing this. Rightfully so. You think he's one of the best in the state. His numbers definitely back that up. From Lowville, Drew Modelski comes on with us. Drew, thanks for coming on, buddy.
How's it going, guys? Thank you for having me.
We're going so good.
Good, very good.
Good as you, right? Probably not as good as you. You're probably doing a little bit better than us with the start to the season you've been having. But first question for you is just talk about preparing for this season. After the year you had last year, what was it like trying to get back and stepping up and raising the game even more this year?
I think last year for me was kind of like a stepping stone for this year. It was more like because last year we won state in the 4x4, it was kind of more of like a taste. Like I got a little taste of what like winning actually felt like. So this summer, obviously, I started this new program with my dad and some of my coaches, doing a lot more endurance work so I could be ready. While everyone else was playing football, I was lifting more. And I was just more to get ready for the season coming up ahead.
It's good stuff, man. We finally got to see you live last week or 2 weeks ago now at County. That was a good matchup, you versus Braden Bryan on all the sprint events there. I was really excited to see that. And you put a show on out there. It was pretty nice. You got the 1, the 2, and the 4 that day. How do you feel about all that?
Yeah, Braden, he's a talented kid. You can't take that away from him. He's actually really, really talented. But I was okay with my performance. I'm always very hard on myself. I always think I could do better. So I was okay with those numbers. It was really windy. My 400 probably wasn't as good as I thought I could run that day. 200 was good. And yeah, I think it was a solid performance overall for that kind of day.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I was kind of bummed that we didn't get to see the 4x4s go because of the weather, but I mean, it's kind of hard to run in a hurricane sometimes.
Yeah.
But that was a great matchup. I was excited to see it, and like I said, you put on a show. So like, let's talk about that dedication to endurance. What kind of stuff did you end up doing there in the summertime?
Summertime, that was when we first started the workout. So I wasn't in any sort of shape at all. One of my workouts, like my dad would be telling me before the season would start, like I'd be dreading it every week.
At this time,
It would be,
all
it would be,
seventh grade
give me 1
students,
second.
please report to room 128 with something to write with. Again, all seventh grade students, please report to room 128 with something to write with. Thank you.
That workout would be, it would be 16 200s at probably, it would say like 32, and you would have a 2-minute break in between.
Mhm.
So as soon as that 2-minute break's over, you go again. Every we did that like once a week, and every week you would drop a second and drop a 200.
Cohen's coming
So
back
that was
out.
like a workout you would really dread every week, but you had to do it because like that's the hardest part is the training. And yeah, you had to do it. Another workout. All the workouts were rough.
Yeah, I know those interval workouts and those things to build endurance are never fun. I always tell like my mid-distance kids when we hit it, I'm like, today's workout is only going to be 10 minutes long, but it's like, 200 at 30 seconds with 45-second rest or something like that. But you really got to hit those sometimes. They are grinds, they are grueling, but again, those are the things that get you to that next level and that push that lactate stuff out of your system. So that's a good one, man. Absolutely.
Yeah.
We're talking about the grind that workouts and getting endurance up is. There are probably days where you're not feeling it, right? You just, it's so hard. You're maybe having a good day or you don't feel exactly 100%. On those days, what keeps you driven to keep going?
It's more just like I always have that sort of drive behind like in the back of my head because of last year. Last year, I obviously, to my standards, I didn't do what I thought I was capable of. I didn't place what I wanted. Times weren't so good. So like this year, I came back kind of with like a vengeance. Like I was upset. So like to keep that, I kept that in the back of my head to remember, like if I don't work at it, I'm not going to see results. So I have to obviously keep doing workouts, get faster, more endurance, stay in shape and be ready for state this year.
Yeah, looking forward to it. I mean, I think you're in the driver's seat to do some good things and some special stuff this spring. So like you sound a little bit like me. What do you like more, not losing or winning?
That's a hard one. Probably not losing. I've never, ever liked losing. I think that's most competitors. Nothing's fun about it.
Yeah, it's always an opportunity to learn something. What could you have done better? And like, what little things do you need to work on? So any other special things you've been trying to tweak this spring, working on your starts, the turns, breathing, anything like that?
Yeah, a big thing for me recently has been form. I feel like I lack like good form in my running, and breathing. That's another one, very important. And yeah, starts for my 100. My 100's more of like, I usually talk about it as like kind of like a warm up for my 4, because you can't like simulate like how explosive you have to be and how like much speed that takes. You can't like simulate that doing like run throughs. So I always use the 100 as like a pre little warm up for my 4 and 2, because I feel like those are more of my main events.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, my start's going to be a big one this year.
Well, I mean, you're still running the 100 pretty good, so don't be so hard on yourself there, buddy.
The Drew Modelski, the perfectionist, always trying to get better, right? Drew, we know that Lowville has a great coaching staff in their track and field department. Talk about them and what they've kind of pushed you and how they've kind of helped you get to where you are.
Yeah, I couldn't do it without them. Every single one of them are important to me. They come, I'm down after like a bad race, they'll coach me back up. Yeah, they're sweet to me, every single one of them.
I mean, you got some pretty good teammates too. Like, do you take it on your shoulders to be like the leader, or like how do you lead? Lead by example, vocal leader? What's your style?
It's not that I lead. I feel like it's more of like just being there for them. Like my friend Josh, he's like friend first before teammate. I figure like that. And like if he has a bad race, I'll tell him what I think he could do better. He's obviously a very, very strong runner. I think he's very good. And like he'll usually be like, "What did I do wrong? What did I do wrong?" I'll try to help him, but usually it's just like for me sometimes it's more like a mental thing if I do bad, because it could be the weather. It could be I was tired that day. It doesn't matter. But yeah, I'll try and lead. I'll try and help kids when they need it, because I feel like some kids who like are new to track need more like help because they obviously don't know much. So I'll be there for people who need help, or if they don't need help, I won't help them.
We also see you shine on the basketball court during the winter. Talk about, what does basketball kind of bring to your track season? What's it like to have that to prepare you for the spring?
I use basketball more as like to get ready and all, because like I have no endurance because I don't play football, obviously. And like I use basketball to just get my legs moving every day. It's very fun. Like it's probably more fun than track, because track, like there's a lot of stress involved, a lot of like healthy, you have to eat healthier, you have to get more sleep, a lot more like dedication and sacrifice to do a track. So basketball is more like a fun thing just to go out and do before I start stressing about track.
Yeah, it is like you against the world type of mentality, especially being an individual star there with your three events that you're shining in. Let's talk about what's going to happen over the next couple of weeks here. How is your mindset going to be changing as we get to district conference championships and then get into districts and regionals?
This is the time I'm really gonna have to like have a sacrifice play. I'm really gonna have to like lock in. I'm gonna have to get my sleep. I'm gonna eat right. I'm gonna have to stay away from people who are gonna distract me. I'm just gonna have to be ready and be like alone and be in my own zone. Just be ready for districts, regionals, and state.
I always like asking track runners this because it is such an individual sport, but it's also a team sport. How do you balance that? How do you balance like focusing on your own on your own times, on your own work, but also, like we already talked about, being a leader and being a good teammate to the other guys that are running on the track team?
I'll try and still like I'll help them as much as I possibly can. I'll do whatever they need, but like at the end of the day, I feel like it's more of an individual sport, so I have to like almost like, I don't want to say it like that, almost put my like priorities ahead of theirs because it's more individual. But like I will help them if they need it, and yeah, I probably have to like focus on what I'm doing before I like try and help them. You know what I'm saying?
So what's the future holding for you? What do you want to do when the season ends? Well, most important thing, once state's over, what's that first meal you're going to go after before the summer season starts?
Probably McDonald's.
Yeah, that's a good one to cut out this time of year with all the soda.
Yeah.
All right, that's a good one. So what do you want to do next year? Like what do you want to major in? What do you want to, what's the future hold for you?
The main goal for me is I do want to try and run in college, and I also want to be a PA, physician assistant. So I'm probably going to try and major in biochemistry.
Mm-hmm.
And I do want to go hopefully Division I if I can stay healthy, keep my head on straight. And yeah, that's pretty much.
What's the recruitment process been like for you? I mean, how much have you been talking to college coaches and kind of putting the feelers out there of where are some spots you can go and land?
Yeah, I've been emailing a few colleges. Some haven't responded, some have. But I still think obviously like the higher D1s like Texas A&M, Oregon, like they're going to want me to run faster than I'm running. So I'm gonna have to get my times down before I keep like responding and keep emailing them.
So what's have you stayed in touch with Michael to see how everything's going with him and his process there over at YSU?
Yeah, he helps me a lot. I'm always asking him for simple tips that he did that I don't do. Like ask him how he cooled down after his races, what he ate to be ready for it, how much he slept, like all those kind of things. He's a very good athlete, very good at what he does. He's a big competitor. Whatever he does, he's going to take. He's doing 110%. He's very talented at what he does.
You know, we've already talked about the leadership you bring to the table and how you kind of build guys up, but you don't get to that point without people showing you how to be a leader. Who are some people in your life that have kind of showed you what it means to be a leader and have served as kind of role models for you in life?
My parents, both my parents, my mom, my dad, they're both very competitive. They both don't like losing. They both went to college to do with sports. Mom went basketball, dad went football. They never liked losing. They always were just like, they always would push me to be better than I am every day. They care about me much. Like I always look up to them whenever I need something.
That's good stuff. How about pre-meet rituals? What are some things that you always like to do before the meets start, especially a big one?
I'll eat a good breakfast. I'll drink some water. I'll go to the meet. I'll probably sit there 10, 20 minutes, just listen to my music, lock in, push everyone away from me, just like get in my own zone and just be ready for my first race.
All right, you said you're putting in music. What's on your pre-meet playlist? What kind of things get you really hyped up and in that right mental zone?
Anything Lil Tecca. He's my favorite rapper. He's the GOAT for me.
It's interesting because we asked that question to a lot of athletes, and it varies because some of them want the hype music before they run. Some of them want kind of the calming music before they run. But you're in the hype section, right? You want to be hyped up before you go.
And some Rihanna. She's pretty good too.
What? I love it. What's the go? Are you like old school Rihanna? Are we talking like Umbrella, or are we talking like some of the new stuff?
Oh yeah, Umbrella's great. Yeah,
there you go.
That's good.
Love it, Drew. One of the things I also want to make sure we ask is about the school life. You're a student athlete at Lowville, and you hold up fantastic grades. What's some of your favorite subjects and some of the teachers that you think have really helped get you to where you're at in the school life?
Subjects. I'm not a good math guy. Math's not my thing, but I do love my math teacher, Miss Reamer. She's great. All my teachers are actually just great people. They're all good teachers. They all do what they know best. They're great. But probably my favorite subject, I would have to say probably anatomy. Anatomy is fun.
So, like, you're a standout athlete there with track and field. Was there a moment when you realized, like, hey, this is me. This is what I want to identify as. This is, like, the sport for me. Like, let's talk about, like, one of those favorite memories that you have coming up through the ranks there.
Yeah, I used to go to Struthers, and when I was younger, I was more of a football guy. Like I always thought that's what I was gonna do, and everyone would always consider me, oh, this kid's pretty quick. So eventually, I did some injuries, had some injuries in football, messed up something in my spine, I tore my ACL, and then I realized one day there's a sport dedicated to running fast. So I always wanted to try it, and I realized that wasn't too horrible. It wasn't that bad. So I tried it. I kept working at it, and I think it's what I want to do now. It's my thing.
My last question for you is, how much do you think you run a week? Like, if you had to put a number on how many miles you put in on your legs on a typical, work week, well, what do you think you're doing?
If I had to estimate, probably 2 to 3. 2 to 3.
That's way more than I do. Sype, how much are you doing?
Me? 0. I don't. I had to change the way mid 40s hit differently. So I used to jump in some reps here and there, and I raced a kid in a 60 a couple indoor seasons ago, and I absolutely blew one of my flexors up. The backstory to it was a Friday. I was wearing jeans, running shoes that were not tied, and I didn't warm up at all. And I just jumped in like I'm 18 years old still, and
I could do this.
I was there. I got like within 2 steps of the finish, and my flexor absolutely blew up. I mean, I went down. I was down for a long time. I looked at the throws coach. I'm like, dude, just take the team out of here. This is embarrassing. Game over. So it hit. So I'm not much of a runner anymore. I do like to lift weights and stuff like that still, but I am off the running. I'm off the running track. It's over.
Drew, you think any of your coaches have a chance to do any laps with you?
Yeah, they can handle it. I think they got it.
Yeah,
I think they can do it.
He's not throwing shade yet. He's not out of there. So
no, they've our senior night's next Tuesday, and they've been on me about a coach's 4x1 for a few weeks now. I'm like, oh my god, I don't know if I can make it.
We should do that too. That'd be fun.
Drew, we want to thank you so much for coming on, talking to us, especially in the middle of your school day. We hope that maybe we got you out of a test or something.
Yep.
That's our goal. We appreciate your time, buddy. Thanks for coming on. Congratulations on everything you've already done, and good luck the rest of the season.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, good luck, Drew. Way to represent the Valley, man.
Drew Modelski from Lowville. Sorry I cut you off there a little bit. I was a little bit quick on that trigger. But what a great kid. What a great answer. What a great, well-spoken interview there, Sype. I mean, I think we tried to get him on last year. If I'm mistaken, we couldn't quite swing it last year when he was doing so many special things.
Yeah, we tried getting him and Mike on last year, and it didn't work out because it like placement tests and all that stuff.
Right.
We did get Sophia Yawn on, and
We
she
did.
was so fantastic. I mean, all those Lowville kids are great. Their coaching staff is fantastic. You can tell that they're bringing those kids through their program the right way. They're all respectful. They compete hard, and as you can see, they all have good results as well.
And as we're talking about Lowville, it kind of brings up the small school mentality of how much these smaller schools really shine on the track and field and cross country. I mean, you're talking Lowville, McDonald, or just the two that like come top of mind, but you even go more into it. The runners we see in these smaller schools, Middle Ridge, Jackson Milton,
Yep.
Springfield. It's just remarkable to see some of the athletes that are hidden a little bit under the radar because track and field isn't talked about nearly as much as it should be. But
Right.
if you kind of take a peek through that curtain and look into the track and field athletes and what these kids are doing in these smaller schools, oh man, we got some good runners down there.
Oh, absolutely. I think the two of the best distance runners for the female side in the entire area. One goes to Heartland Christian, and the other one goes to McDonald's. So I mean, if you can do it, you can do it. You just have to have that dedication, that drive. You have to be willing, like Drew said, you have to make sacrifices. You have to work hard. But I've been compiling data and tracking some names here since we got together, and most of the schools that we're talking here are our smaller schools. I mean, it is a smaller school area. The population is declining and all those things. But I mean, McDonald, South Range, Mineral Ridge, like you said, LeBray, JFK, Mooney. I mean, there are players across the board. Once again, this year, I think we're going to be very well represented at state, and we're going to be very well represented on the state podiums this year as well. So I'm really looking forward to see how everything is going to open up. We're finally getting good weather. So some of these, I mean, there are good posts already. And if this is what these kids are posting already in bad weather, I can't wait to see what happens with the good weather once it starts happening.
You know what I love about track too? We're talking about small schools, big schools. Like track is a sport, and all the other individual sports are kind of the same way. If you're fast, you're fast. It doesn't matter how big or small your school is, right? Like some of the other sports, like football, if you're a Division I football team, you're usually a much bigger roster. You can sub guys in. You can have that advantage of being bigger. But in track and field and cross country, if you're fast, you're fast. It doesn't matter how big of a school you go to. Like that might go into like the team scores if you have more runners to kind of put out there. But at the end of the day, like if you're talking one-on-one, if this kid from Lowville, Drew Modelski, he's faster than a lot of D1 kids, it's just because he's fast. Like you can't really stack up. It's a little bit murky when you're talking about trying to compare big school, small school in these individual sports.
Well, I mean, the two fastest boys 100 times in the area right now, one is from United, that Danny Milburn, and then Chalker, Southington. They have the other fastest 100 time in the area this year. So, I mean, Chalker's graduating maybe 30 something kids
Chalker
a year.
might be one of the smallest schools in the area, period.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, and they have a guy that ran 10:68, and Boardman's school record is 10:61. So, I mean,
Ooh.
that's a kid from, again, a dot in northern Trumbull County popping a good time out there. I mean, it's impressive. Again, you can do it. You're either fast or you're not. And that's one of my favorite things about track opposed to some of the team sports. Like, how come you're running so-and-so over this person? Well, here's what they ran, and here's what they ran. That's why. It's pretty simple stuff there. Now, again, you do have to train. You do have to do all the right things, because I've also seen very talented athletes not pan out just because they didn't take the little things and the behind-the-scenes stuff as serious as they should have.
Coach, we have a little bit to catch up on. We were a week away. So tell us, what are some things that have happened in the last couple of weeks that have really stand out? Maybe some times that really open your eyes in the last couple of weeks, and some runners that are really making a name for themselves as we get closer and closer to districts.
Well, I mean, we're still going to talk about some of the same players that we've talked about from last year carrying over. All the McDonald throwers, Zajac, let me think, Shilly, she's having another great year. Emma Bundy, she's having a great year over there. Ellison out of United, he's throwing it pretty well. And again, Braden Bryant, Drew, his teammate Pazel, he's having a great year. I mean, it's not necessarily like where the times are right now, but you're seeing the kids starting to develop and come out of their shells a little bit because the weather's starting to break. 2 weeks ago, we talked about the Mahoney County meet being like a joint meet this year. They used to divide it up into big and small schools. And then this is the first year that they put them all together. And we got to see, Drew race against the Fitch kids and the Boardman kids. And he put the smoke down on everybody. It was amazing. Like, it was one of those days, like, you could tell in the tone of his voice that he was a little like not happy with his performances, but it wasn't even close, Coach. Like, he smoked everybody there. My personally, and I'll probably throw some shade at my own guy. It was Wednesday, and it was during testing. I was out in the hall, and he was like out in the hall walking around. I'm like, "Hey, what's up, man? You ready for Saturday?" He's like, "Man, I don't know about this Lowville kid." I'm like, "Oh, here we go." So he had some of my guys beat before the races even started. And I mean, when you're putting times down, that's the kind of stuff that you do out there. So, and you just got to show up and try to revamp how your approaches are. So that county meet was nice. The Fitch boys and girls both put their studs out there. They won both of them. I really think that the Fitch boys are one of the better male teams in the area this year. And then the Fitch girls, very strong. I think they're one of the better ones. And of course, as always, the Salem Superpower girls, that team just has kids show up every single season. And they're just one of the better ones around here. I don't know. There's something in the water there that makes their kids run faster, stronger, and jump further and higher than anybody else out there. So again, I'm really excited to see how it goes. But like I said, the main players, our McDonald kids, our Ridge kids, our South Range kids. I mean, you can tell who's doing the right things and who's getting coached the best possible ways out there.
To shine a light on your kids. I know you threw some shade at someone.
Yeah, it's all right.
So we'll shine some light. You had some records being broken this week, right? At Boardman, some new record in the discus relay.
Yeah, the girls discus
4x8 and the co-ed 4x2.
Yeah, we had a couple new ones. We went to the green relays last Friday, and we got one of the crazier meets I've ever coached at. We got to see a hurricane right in the middle of their meet. So we had a 2-hour delay, and then we came out and ran the co-ed 4x2, the co-ed 4x4. And then our discus gals, they put on a show, man. That record was standing for 13 years. So Sarah Barrow, Lily Eisen, and Lily Warren went out there, and they all threw some nukes out there, and we had a nice night. They broke the record by over 8 feet. So that's a lot to stand on. Those girls, they've worked their tails off. Darian Williams and John Polini, our 2 throw coaches, I think they're 2 of the best in the biz. They always get the most out of their kids. And again, we're up there with, I know John's a big numbers guy. Everybody on my staff, like our staff, is a numbers guy or gal. And they're out there figuring it out. And he's like, we would be here in the state. We'd be number 2 in this division, number 1 in that division. This is the best team. This is the teams we want to see. Can we try to get this meet on the schedule next year? It's one of those deals where you have something, you're cooking with fire. So you want to make sure that we want to make sure that, that the cliche thing, iron is sharpening iron. So we're already putting it together for next year, working on a schedule too. So I'm excited for the kids. And again, it's getting nice outside finally. So we're going to get some out there as well.
Well, the only thing you have to say in Boardman athletics is Sarah Barrow, and something special is going on, right? Whether it's whatever sport she's playing. I mean, wasn't surprised to see her name on a record board, flashing lights.
Yeah, I'm very proud of her. I'm very excited to see how the rest of the season goes for her. And you're right. Sarah Barrow is one of the best we've had. She's going to end up with 15 letters when she's leaving. I mean, how many throwers in the state can you say also run cross country?
15.
Yeah. So she has 4 in track, 4 in hoops, 4 in soccer, and then 3 in cross country as well. Yeah. And again, an all-state thrower is a cross country letter winner by merit, not by
you don't
or anything like that.
Maybe you don't know the answer to this, but who has like the most letters in Boardman athletics history? Do you know the number?
Oh my gosh. So years ago, there was a picture of a girl in our old foyer for the weight room. Mm-hmm. And when they did the new construction, that picture came down, and I haven't seen it in over a decade. Uh-huh. Do you not know the name? it was a basketball girl. I can picture I can envision the picture, but I cannot remember what the girl's name was. I think she had 14 though. So I mean,
Sarah Barrow might be one that
she could be number after
do
this
some
one.
digging.
I could be misspeaking.
Right. Well, we're
because
we're speculating. We're speculating right now.
I do not know the complete history of like our golf teams and how some of those sports, play into it. But I mean, she very well could. I mean, 16, I think, is the realistic max that anybody could have, but that could be wrong. But like I said, I think that old one was 14 that girl had.
I think Jackie Grisdale for Poland finished with 20 one year. Yeah, when she finished at Poland, she had 20 because she did soccer, cross country, or golf and cross. She did 2 in the fall, basketball, softball, and she ran track at the same time too.
Yeah.
So
and that's I mean, and again, she's killing it. I can never pronounce that college properly.
Quinnipiac.
Yeah, she's killing it up there. So I mean, and Grizz was great. I remember competing against her a number of times with our girls, and she was one of the better ones we've seen too. I mean, people really sleep on the Mahoning Valley, but there are a high number of kids that we pump out of here that do very well athletically at the collegiate level, and then they end up doing really good things with themselves afterwards as well. So
we'll have to do some journalism to see if Sarah Barrow is breaking the record for most letters as a Boardman athlete.
We will be looking into it. I know our throws coach he's been doing his best to figure it out, but I do think that, again, I could be dead wrong, but I'm pretty sure that she's going to be one of the more decorated athletes. Definitely one of the more decorated athletes. She's all state. She could be again this year. I mean, she's done very well. I mean, several championships as a team leader. I mean, again, she's one of the better all-time athletes that we've had. And she's going to be a Buckeye too. So I'm excited to see what she's going to do down there.
So stay tuned. We'll have updates as the season goes on.
Absolutely.
On what we figure out. We have an exciting week ahead. What can you preview in the track and field world? What's going on before we talk again next week?
Well, the big one this weekend is the Optimist meet. It's over at Austintown Fitch, and that historically has been one of the better meets in the entire state. So we're expecting to see a lot of good teams coming in. The Solon girls, the Fitch girls, the Fitch boys. Bedford's coming in. St. Ignatius is coming down. And then, as you said, some of the better small school athletes that are seated very highly in the meet. Another name that I know, Ava Hewlett. She's one of the top seeded hurdlers at the event. So I'm very excited to see what she does when this meet gets going on Saturday. I'm really hoping that the weather stays nice and, these kids have an opportunity to perform in really, really, really good weather there.
We're excited for that too. We're also excited for the continuation of Running Wednesdays. If you're just joining us, this will be something that we do every Wednesday. We'll bring Rick Seipert on. Hopefully every Wednesday we can get a track and field star on with us to talk about their journey, and he can bring some of those knowledgeable track questions that me and DJ just probably would be so lost in trying to ask. So rest of the track season we'll be locked on to you and giving you all the track coverage we possibly can, because like I said before, you look outside of the YSN network and the coverage of track is just not where it needs to be, and we're trying to raise that bar a little bit. We understand that broadcasting it is a little bit tough. We need more than one camera to do it without making people seasick, following people around in a circle with one camera in the press box. But we'll get there. Until we do, though, we're gonna do our best to cover as many athletes as possible every Wednesday here with Rick Seipert. Coach, thank you so much for all your time between doctor appointments. We appreciate it. We'll see you back in the classroom next week. I'm sure, right?
Absolutely, yeah. I'll be back. We're on the home stretch here, so I know it's kind of crazy how fast the school year's closing out, but it's all good.
Coming down the home stretch. It's crazy to think that we were talking softball before we popped on. Where the draw is Sunday.
Yeah, sectionals.
Sunday.
Yeah, the 10th is sectionals. But I mean,
So the draw is this weekend, right? So
that's correct. Yeah. Nationals is the 10th through the 17th. I mean, that final push is coming here, man.
We still got conferences up in the air, including the Boardman Spartans and the AAC. They still have a lot to figure out in that conference with two teams not tied at the top because Howland opened the door for Boardman and Fitch.
Yeah,
with
we
an
have
upset over Canfield.
Yeah, we have a couple big ones next week. We have a home and away with Canfield.
Yeah.
I think the 6th and the 7th, or the 5th and the 6th next week. So they got a big game. They got some big games coming up next week. So we're all looking forward to seeing them. And again, like we said, it's a conference, man. You have 2 defending state champions in there. You can't ask for a better competition.
Just imagine if you're able to win that conference with 2 state champions in the mix. I mean, if Boardman wins that conference, you open your eyes and I know it doesn't mean anything once tournament starts, but at the same time you go, oh, Fred, you're putting something special together. We might have to finally give Fred a little bit of credit.
It's all good. Give Fred a hard time as much as you want. He's a great guy. He's worked very hard and they back down from nobody. He puts the best schedule.
They're playing Walsh tonight.
What's that?
They're playing Walsh tonight. That tells you they're not backing down from anybody.
Yeah, they'll play anybody anytime.
Top-ranked team in the state. So
yeah, really proud of him. He's a good guy. I can't be any happier for Fred. I mean, those girls work their tails off. They're excited. I mean, I'm really hoping that some good things happen for them.
We love Fred. We also love giving him a hard time because he's a Broncos fan.
He is a Broncos fan. I mean, I have no words for that one. So,
thanks for coming on again. We appreciate your time, and we'll see you again next Wednesday. All right.
All right, Coach. Thank you so much. Have a great week, man. I'll talk to you soon.
You too, man. Rick Seipert coming on, talking to us about track. We are so excited for track season to start really heating up. It's already there. I mean, I should say really heating up. It's already been heating up, but the weather getting warm. We're going to see a lot of those times get a little bit more consistent. And like he said, we are close to districts. We're coming up on it in every sport. So we will have Rick Seipert on every week, all the way up to states, like Wrestling Wednesday with Gary Altizer. We brought him on all the way up to state. So we'll do the same thing. We are latched on to track all the way up into that state finals where I think we'll have a lot of representation in the YSN family for sure. So we thank him for his time. We thank Drew Moldelsky for his time coming on in the middle of the school day and talking to us about his journey and what he did to kind of become one of the top runners in the state this season in Lowville. So once again, next week, Running Wednesday for the rest of the track season. We're excited. The show, we're going to take this time to thank our sponsors, Greenwood Chevrolet and Toyota of Warren. Let's get the logos up in the top right-hand corner of the screen so you know where to go. If you are in the market for a new or used vehicle, we will start with our good friends down in Austintown, Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. It is Car Care Month for one more day. This is the final day of April, right? Not wrong. 30 days past September, April, June, and November, right? So this is the last day of April and last day of Car Care Month. If your car is any kind of need of checks, oil, brakes, tires, whatever it may be, if you have even an inkling that your car may be in the need of one of those, Greenwood Chevrolet has a great service department. They want to take care of you. They want to get you in for Car Care Month. So make sure you take advantage of that. Summer road trips coming up, right? You got to make sure your car is in tip-top shape before you take your family on the road. Greenwood Chevrolet, their service department, no one better than that. And if you're maybe in the market for a new or used vehicle, maybe you're not in the market for service, but you're in the market for a new or used vehicle, Greenwood Chevrolet can take care of you there as well. And then we transition into our other sponsor of the show, which is Toyota of Warren. All you have to know is the Toyota Tundra, right? The YSN Tundra. It's out and about all the time. If you see it, you know DJ's there. They take care of you just as much as Greenwood Chevrolet does. They want to take you places, right? And there's nowhere to go if you don't have a Toyota. So go check out Toyota of Warren. If you are in the market for a new or used vehicle, make sure to get them. They'll take care of you, and they will get you in the best vehicle they possibly can, fit your budget well, and they'll take you places. They'll take you places. We're going to take you places, too, because we have Scotty Minter coming on very soon to have his weekly segment. Of course, he's going to want to talk about the draft. A lot of interesting picks, right? The Browns knocking on the door, right? And he'll probably ask me about my Chiefs, who I think had a really good draft, although I am kind of shocked that they did not get a running back in the earlier rounds because I think that's one of their needs. We'll talk about that. We'll see what else Scotty wants to talk about very soon. But while we wait for him, we're going to take a commercial break. And when we come back, we'll have Scotty and his weekly segment here on Running Point. Running Point. Wow, that was such a muscle reaction. I haven't, Running Point's been dead for a while, but my brain just went right to it on that commercial break. We'll be back.
"21 News delivers the news as it happens, using the latest technology from where it happens.
Live here outside the Mahoney County.
On air, online,
Wednesday afternoon weather update.
Very dangerous.
and on the 21 News social media platforms.
I'm on the road right now.
21 News, the Valley's only locally owned source for trusted news since 1953.
Craftsmanship to us is 60 years of pride and dedication.
Passed down from generation to generation.
The hardwood floors that your kids take their first steps on.
The solid wood doors you quietly close at night.
The things we create day in and day out are the products that end up turning your house into a home.
At Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods, uncompromising quality and craftsmanship built our business.
And it will keep us moving forward for generations to come.
Going the extra mile at Greenwood Chevrolet means we want to take care of the community that takes care of us too.
And we have to work together always. And that's how you stay in business for 40 years.
I love being a helper because when I help somebody, it makes me feel good.
It means a lot that I can make a difference in others' lives.
So I will do everything I can and just being there for them every step of the way.
I want them to know within the first 5 minutes that they could depend on me. That's what going the extra mile means, only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
Before the lights come on, before the workday begins, before a long day is ended, or it's time to have fun. It all starts with the people at Joe Dickey Electric. From replacing a light fixture in your home to building a substation for your business, no job is too big or too small. The people of Joe Dickey Electric power them all. Joe Dickey Electric, over 60 years of powering the Mahoning Valley.
Welcome back to YSN Live. Anthony Hartwig with you, and coming up on the show, a guy that needs really no introduction, but he gets mad if you don't give it to him. He's a diva a little bit in that regard, right? It is Scotty Mincher, the wheeled wonder of the world, the eighth wheeled wonder of the world, Scotty Mincher coming on, and he's probably pretty happy about his Browns draft. We'll have to talk to him about it. Scotty, first and foremost, buddy, where's your ice bucket challenge? I did it. I manned up and I did it. You got called out, buddy. I need to see it. I'm waiting for it.
I know don't worry. It's in the works. It's happening for sure.
I mean, Scotty, you got 24 hours, man, and you're way past the clock. I mean, I didn't beat the clock either, so I can't talk too much.
I was gonna say,
but I had a little bit of it. I was on the road back home from Atlanta. I can't do it in the car. But I mean, here we are. Clock's ticking, dude. You're earning more and more money that you have to give to the USC foundation. More and more money that you're racking up.
Well, that's fine. I'd be happy to get more.
Scotty's giving a big check to USC.
It's one of those things. I was talking with my friend about it yesterday because I want to get it done. And also, Radar got called out too.
Yeah, Radar got to get on it too, man.
Buck's taking for you, Radar, as well. In the ice.
I know he's watching. Radar doesn't miss YSN Live on Wednesdays. Radar, you're out there. You got to pour some ice on your head, buddy.
But the issue is, I think when I do it, I'm gonna have to do it in my push chair.
Oh yeah, please! Like, my God, don't get electrocuted, Scotty. Can you imagine? And here's Scotty Mincher with the ice bucket challenge, and I can just see Radar being the one to do it, and this button dumps it on you. All right, Radar, you're up next, buddy. Scotty's sitting there smoking.
Yeah, That would
No,
be.
don't do it in your electric chair. That's dumb. I did it in the tub. I got out of the chair. Don't do it in your chair, Scotty. For the
But-
love of, I thought you could just like have someone get you out and just put you on a normal like patio chair or something and dump ice on your head. I didn't even want to get my push chair all wet because that's like the seat cushion is kind of nice material. You don't want to kind of soak it up. I just like get yourself in a patio chair, man.
So yeah, maybe I should make that happen. But
just here's a tip: your muscles will react when when that cold water hits you. I don't know if you watched mine. I'm sure you did. I didn't even like that went so differently than I expected because I thought like, okay, you get the ice, the water hits, you'll be fine. Like every muscle in my body tensed up and it shot me off of the chair I was sitting on. So, be prepared for that. Our bodies might react a little bit differently than most with the cold water hitting us.
Yeah,
our muscles are weird, man. You never know what they're gonna do.
Yeah, that
our body literally doesn't know what they're gonna do. That's the definition of cerebral palsy.
Yeah, it is.
Oh my god. Let's get back on track. DJ's probably
we don't want
DJ's probably listening to this show going, I am never taking a day off again with these Giacomos on the air. Scotty, you brought in topics. Let's hear what you want to talk about today.
Yeah. So I do want to get your thoughts on the NFL draft and what's happened in free agency as a whole in this offseason so far. But first, I wanted to talk to you about Louisville baseball.
Mm-hmm.
Another big night last night. Casey Smith absolutely dialed in. The Rockets have a winning record right now.
Yeah, they're 8-6.
Yeah.
They've also won 4 in a row. So they're on a little bit of a streak right now.
And it hasn't been just one guy. They've gotten a lot of different, and you needed a lot in baseball, especially with only coming up to bat so many times and not always having the opportunity to just, like in basketball, get it to your best player or football. But they've had contributions throughout the roster. So I just wanted to get your thoughts. What did you think of this Louisville team coming into the year, Anthony? And the second part of that is, are they about on par about what your expectations were? Have they surprised you in any way? And how talented is this Rockets team?
Well, I'll tell you what, when they started the season a little bit shaky, I think there were some people that were like, because it's a younger roster overall. And they are returning a lot of players that got their feet wet last year, but still are pretty green when it comes to baseball. They have their leaders. They have Gino Perry, who's having an incredible season. He's leading the team in batting average. He's hitting 522 right now. At the top of the lineup, you have a guy that's setting the tone, hitting 522. And that's pretty impressive. So the talent is there, absolutely. And now they're starting to kind of put it together, get some confidence. Whenever younger teams get on a win streak, they start to get dangerous, right? They start to get that mindset like there's no one that can stop us now, almost like Jefferson Starship. Nothing's gonna stop us now. So this team can be very dangerous going forward. They have some big games coming up. I mean, they have Camel tonight, but they still have Jackson Milton twice and McDonald twice in league play coming up next week. So they have some really big games coming up that's going to really tell us a lot about how much this win streak is going to propel them towards postseason, because the sectional draw is next weekend. So these next 2 weeks are very important as far as seeding goes, right? If they go and they win all these games and they beat the likes of Campbell, Jackson Milton, and McDonald before that draw even happens. Well, I should say it would be. No, it would be, yeah, those games would happen before the draw. I'm trying to do the dates there. They also have a game against East before the draw. So they have a chance to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What's that? 14-6 before the draw. If they win all their next 6 games before that draw happens next weekend. And once again, that's if all these games get in. Storm Tracker 21, good day today. Rest of the week looks a little bit iffy. But you play what you can. But if they have a chance to really have their record be pretty dang good when that draw happens. So I think Louisville's got a good shot to make a good run in the tournament. If they get a favorable seed and they get a couple of games under their belt in tournament play that are a little bit more winnable, to get even more confidence for that team, they have a shot. They also have the pitching. I mean, we're talking about their offense. Their offense is rolling on all cylinders right now. Their pitching is not doing a bad job at all. Which is harder when you're talking about small schools having a staff, right? You have to have a staff in high school baseball to have a successful season because you're playing 4 or 5 games a week. You got to have those arms. But right now, their arms are pretty dang good. I mean, you look at the ERAs they have right now. They're most of them, especially in the last 2 weeks, have really been pitching well. Now, overall ERA kind of shaky, but if you break it down as their winning streak, the ERA, they're doing really good. They've kept their ERA as a team under 5 in the last 5 games in this 4-game winning streak. So their ERA right now, their pitching is starting to find a groove as well as their offense, putting it together. That's what it takes. You got to put it all together and make a good impression before that tournament draw. So I think Louisville, they're pointing up. They're one of those teams pointing upwards, Scotty.
Onward and upward.
Like the Rockets, man, they're blasting off. They're living up to their names.
Yeah. It's very good to see them. And like you said, you know, when you get off to a slow start and you're a young team, sometimes, you know, you could really get in a big hole, but yep. I'm glad they were able to weather the storm early, and now being over 500 on the season,
yep.
And there's been even you know, Liam Bartlett has had some really big moments as well. You talked about Perry already, Anthony, and it's really good to see them coming into their own, and the last couple games really have had a strong output offensively, scoring a lot of runs.
15 runs last night against Matthews in that 15-5 win. So their offense is humming. Like I said, their pitching is starting to put it together, especially in this little win streak they've put together in the last week or so.
Yeah, it's and I hope they could keep it up. They get, you know, it's gonna be.
Well, here's the big question, Scotty. They're playing Campbell tonight. Who are you rooting for? Because you got some stake in both of those schools.
Yeah, I guess
I know it's tough, man.
It's so tough. It's so tough, Anthony. You really put me on the spot.
Good thing we're YSN and we root for both schools because they're both under the banner, so you don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, so I guess if I had to pick, if you're making me pick.
I'm not making you pick, Scotty. I was just wanting you to squirm a little bit.
Okay.
You're good.
Then I want them both to.
Exactly. Scotty's like, I hope everyone just has fun.
Yeah.
Scotty, what else did you want to talk about today, bud?
So yeah, I wanted to talk about Anthony, especially from your perspective. Your thoughts on the NFL draft and what happened in free agency, and not just your team and the Chiefs, because let's face it, you've been sitting in a really good spot for a long time now. The season didn't quite end with how you wanted it.
Thanks for that,
last
Scotty.
year.
Thanks for bringing that up.
Didn't get the 3-peat, but the Chiefs have been, top of the NFL. Mahomes 3 Super Bowls already in his career, not even 30 years old. But do you think it was as simple as they just needed some O-line help, and now they've kind of have addressed that? Or do you think maybe the Chiefs, were lacking some playmakers after that Super Bowl?
Well, here I just pulled up their drafts. So they opened the draft with Josh Simmons from Ohio State, the Ohio State University. That's an offensive tackle. So I think that was their one need. Like they said, okay, we saw what the line did in the Super Bowl. That's obviously a glaring need. We don't have Joe Thuney anymore. We got to get offensive line. So boom, that was their first need. And then they started and looked and said, okay, but we also need some interior defense. They went to Tennessee and got the defensive tackle, Norman Lott, Omar Norman Lott from Tennessee, who I think, if I'm right, he had 34 and 2/3 sacks in his last 2 seasons at Tennessee, which is incredible. And then they went and got a defensive end. So they're really working on their pass rush, giving Chris Jones a little bit more, less attention, I guess I should say, because if you focus on Chris Jones, you got to have other people that can step up. And they got Ashton Gillette from Louisville. And then they went on and they got a corner because they lost a couple of secondary guys, Josh Reed being the biggest name that they lost, of course. So they got Noel Williams from Cal. And what's the Chiefs draft without getting a wide receiver, right? And this is the one that got everyone excited, not because he was number 7, I think, on the receiver board on most guys' draft boards, but also because his last name's Royals, right? It just makes sense. Jalen Royals from Utah State. It's like, okay, those Royals Chiefs jerseys are going to sell like crazy when they start selling them. I don't know what number he's going to get yet, but when that jersey goes on sale and you have a Chiefs jersey with Royals on the back, I have a feeling that's going to sell a lot.
Yeah, or could you imagine getting his baseball jersey and you got Royals on the front and back?
So then they ended the draft with a linebacker from Oregon and Jeffrey Bassa, and then the running back, they finally got a running back in the final pick with Brashard Smith at SMU. Now that's the thing that a lot of Chiefs fans that I follow on Twitter are a little bit upset with. They thought running back was a big need, and they kind of waited until the final pick to get a running back. So I think they wanted a little bit more attention to that running back role. So I think some Chiefs fans are a little confused there. I mean, they do have Isaiah Pacheco coming back. Hopefully he's healthy this year. He was a little bit banged up last year. Our running back room is not deep, so I kind of get why Chiefs fans are a little bit frustrated with that. But I have all the faith in the world in Brett Veach, so he's put together good teams, I would say.
Yeah,
in the last 7 seasons. So 7 straight AFC championships. I don't think we're hurting on how to build up a team. Scotty, let's talk about your team. We have to flip the script.
Okay.
The Browns. Their quarterback room's getting real crowded.
Yeah, it is a crowded QB room. And I guess I also wanted to get your opinion, Anthony, as an outsider. I know the Browns got a haul, but do you, I tend to think the more I think about it, do you think the Browns made a mistake in passing on generational type talent prospect in Travis Hunter and taking Mason Graham from Michigan. And what do you make of the Browns becoming the first team ever to draft 2 QBs and 2 running backs in the same draft?
The Browns are always going to do things that scratch your head, right? I actually thought the start of the draft, I was like, oh man, the Browns made a really good pick. Like their first pick was really, I really liked it. I was like, okay, Browns aren't in their normal draft, head scratchers in the first round. And then like as the draft went on, it's like, oh, here are the Browns. They're showing up a little bit. And they got a little bit more head scratchers. And it's one of those ones where I'm like, oh, I don't know. I don't know about this. I don't think it's the worst draft in the league. I think, the Vikings had kind of a ho-hum draft. I think the Saints, I didn't really like their picks. The Bengals, I was so it just didn't, none of their picks made sense in Cincinnati. I don't know what they're doing over there in Cincy. I don't think they really locked down any of their needs for the year. So that's actually good news for you guys because, that's one of your opponents. I also don't think that Denver had that great of a draft, which I'm shocked in because Denver was starting to point up a little bit as a team with what they were putting together last year. But I don't think the Browns had the worst draft in the league. But there were some picks there. I was like, okay, here, what are we doing here?
You thought it was more
mid.
like
it was
average.
mid. It was mid. I would put it mid. It wasn't the best. It wasn't the worst. It was mid.
Yeah, I mean, I'm hopeful. I really like all their picks, other than I'm not crazy about, and I get it because the Browns have struggled at that position, it seems like, since the beginning of time. So, competition brings out the best in everybody. But to me, you take Dylan Gabriel out of Oregon in the 3rd round, but then you trade up and you get Shedeur with many people think it was a great value getting them in the 5th round, but it's like I just don't know how they're gonna split up all these reps in camp.
Did you see Joe Flacco's reaction?
I did not know.
He got a camera on him and he was clapping, but he also had like the most unbelievable, like just straight face while he was clapping, like not a smile, not a frown, just like, I was like, oh man, I don't wonder what he's thinking about internally. He's like, he just went out and got me back, and now they're bringing guys in to try. Like, didn't you want me? I don't know. It's crazy. And Shedeur is one of those ones that like he can go either way. Like the talent wise, you watch his tape and you go, okay, he's solid, but like one of those things that you just don't know is what that intangible, what way of the fence that's going to fall, because we've seen guys with attitude be really good after the draft. I mean, Baker Mayfield had a lot of problems in Oklahoma, a lot of character kind of questions, and we see that he's often being a pretty good career, even in Cleveland. I mean, he got them to the playoffs, and despite them, giving up on him a little bit. Now he's having a really good, time in Tampa Bay. He had some character questions, right? But then you look at Johnny Manziel, also character questions, and he went the opposite way. So you really don't know which way of the fence Shedeur Sanders and some of his character questions. That's how I'll put it, because they're question marks. They're not like, I'm not going to vilify the kid because he's a kid and he did some things that like some like small like trash talking and things that people are knocking him for. That I think if you looked at every high level player, especially a high level quarterback, they're going to have some of that in them. But yeah, there are some character questions with Shedeur Sanders. The way that he conducted himself in the interview process has been brought to light by some cowards, in my opinion, who don't want to put their name out there, saying this was the worst interview that I've ever been a part of in the NFL. But it's like, okay, if you're going to say that, put your name on it. That's one of my big problems. So, once again, that could go either way. I mean, he could be one of those guys we're talking about in years going like, man, I can't believe he fell that far. And it was a steal, and he might be one of those guys that, whether it's for the Browns or for someone that he kind of eventually falls into, man, he turned their franchise around. He could be that. I think he has the talent to be that. But he could also be, you know, like a Ryan Leaf kind of guy that this has a mental breakdown and can't handle the maturity it takes to be an NFL quarterback. We'll see.
Yeah, I do think I do agree with you as far as, you know, I think going into it, he maybe he saw it as I'm being confident, but I think maybe a lot of other teams during that process, they saw it as cocky.
Well, the hard thing is we'll never know what was said and how those interviews went. Like, there's no camera in the interviews. And as much as people wanted to kind of paint this picture of it being an NFL conspiracy and they had something against Shedeur, like, there's something to be said about some of the players that have been taken that have had the same character issues that we see on camera, right? So there must have been, I'm imagining, maybe I'm naive, but there must have been something in that interview process that we don't get to see that turned some people off.
Yeah, well, I heard, I don't know if you saw this report, Anthony, but I heard,
Andy?
I'm sorry, my
get off the show.
Anthony, but I heard when he was in the meeting with the Giants, he wasn't prepared and he had his headphones on, like just kind of in his own.
Yep.
But to be honest with you, Anthony, I watched the conference call with Shedeur, and I watched his pre-draft NFL Combine press conference. I really don't see this guy as like a cocky jerk. It's not the impression.
Well, if he showed up at an interview with headphones on and didn't pay any respect to the people that were interviewing him, if that was true. We don't know
if
that's
it
true.
was true.
That's
yeah.
like one of those things where I'm like, oh, jeez. He did come out in the Combine, Scotty, and say, I don't need to do the Combine. My tape will show what you need to see. And that was kind of he is showing a little bit of that cocky attitude, which, once again, to be an alpha dog, you got to have. Like Tom Brady has it. Like, we're not going to pretend like Tom Brady never trash talks. Phillip Rivers had it, although he did it without swearing, which I was always amazed at. Baker Mayfield, like I said, he had some character questions when he came out of college. He was, grabbing his stuff on camera at the other team. Doesn't necessarily mean you're not going to be a really good NFL quarterback. Doesn't mean that you can't handle the leadership and the maturity, but what it just raises those questions. And then you got to see, how is the interview process? What is making these teams pass on a guy that on tape looks really, really good when the NFL has a very historic history of looking past things if the talent is there, right? We both know the things that get kind of swept under the rug in the NFL if you're talented. So what was it about him that kind of made some NFL teams go, you know what, we're not going to even toe those waters?
Do
and
you
something
think
tells me it's more than just Deion? We don't like Deion Sanders. Like I have a sneaky feeling that that's not the whole story, as much as some people want to share that narrative.
Yeah, that's hard for me to buy too, because I mean, Deion's a legend.
Once again, we've seen a lot of things get looked past for talent in the NFL. So there's got to be something there, because we've seen we've seen some criminals be able to be like, hey, you know what? He deserves a second chance. Like
Deshaun Watson.
Like let's call a spade a spade. The NFL has a history, and every NFL team has it. The Chiefs have it too. I'm not throwing shade at any franchise without my own. Hey, you're really talented. You've done some shady stuff. We're just gonna, we'll investigate it. We'll it's nothing. We'll just put you back on the team.
And I'm hopeful, because I have for a long time I've liked Shedeur as a prospect, even before the Browns got him. I have a feeling if he's committed, I think he will do well in the NFL. Now,
the talent's there, dude. Like the tape is there. It's all about how he takes the mindset to it, and how he handles that aspect of being a professional. Because like I said, we've seen guys go one way and the other with that kind of mentality that Shedeur Sanders seems to at least project. Don't know if he has that like same attitude in everyday life, but he projects it a little bit. I was thinking when you were talking, I was thinking about there was a guy that the Cowboys brought back after he got like accused of like so many terrible things, and like the first thing that he said in an interview was something about like Tom Brady, something about Giselle, like when they were playing the Patriots, like I hope his wife shows up because she's good looking or whatever. Like that's the kind of stuff that like NFL doesn't care about. But now I can't remember that guy's name, which is sad because that was one of the more funny, not funny, haha, but like, oh, that is so the NFL picture perfect right there. Like, I think it was Garrett. It wasn't Myles Garrett, but his first name was Garrett something. He was a defensive lineman, and he had a lot of problems. The Cowboys still took a trigger on him. And like his first interview, he couldn't keep his mouth shut, and he said something about like Giselle when him and Tom Brady were married. And I was like, oh, that is so perfect, right on brand. I think it was Garrett Wilson. If that might be his name. That's the name that's popping up in my head. But
okay,
it was just like it was one of those ones that's like picture perfect. Like NFL teams look past a lot of shady stuff if you're talented enough. So
yeah.
Once again, it's weird that it's like, what wouldn't you look past with Shedeur Sanders when you've looked past so many things in the NFL's history?
And who knows? Maybe if Shedeur was.
Hey, maybe there are some people in the NFL that just don't think the tape's that good.
Yeah. And also the other thing, if he was cocky and arrogant, maybe this now going pick 144 in the 5th round, maybe and I'm hopeful it could be a blessing in disguise for him. Maybe it humbles him a little bit because he thought he was going in the top 5 or top 10 or at worst early 2nd round, and then he doesn't even go all the way till round 5. So that's my hope, that it's kind of like a blessing in disguise for Shedeur. But I get the feeling based off of what you said, Anthony, you think Shedeur having Deion as a father, you think it's gonna be it's more helpful to him than hurtful.
It should be. It's as long as Deion's one of those guys that can, unlike LeBron a little bit, step back and let his kid just be a professional, and don't micromanage everything that people say. Because Shedeur Sanders is gonna be talked about a lot on the talking heads. Like they're gonna put him under a microscope. Because if he does well, they're gonna talk about him and be like, "Oh man, I can't believe all these teams passed on him." And if he doesn't do well, people are gonna be like, "Told you so, told you so, told you so." And Deion Sanders is gonna have to be able to handle that chatter coming about his son. We've seen LeBron maybe not handle it the best and kind of go after some people for just talking about his son's basketball. The things that's black and white. But that being said, Scotty, let's get back to YSN. We've had a long NFL discussion, but the talk on YSN that doesn't get talked about in any other sports talk arena in the area is of course, local high schools and what they're doing. We have a lot of games that are going to be happening tonight with the weather being A-OK. We'll start with baseball, some big matchups. How about Boardman going to Warren JFK, Scotty? That's going to be a fun one to kind of get a taste for. Another one that I'm looking forward to today, Waterloo hosting Middle Ridge in both baseball and softball. Big conference game for both sides, baseball and softball, especially for the Rams softball team that is leading the conference right now, trying to stay undefeated and set up that matchup on Saturday with Jackson Milton, who's sitting second right now in the MVAC. Jackson Milton's going to have to sweep Middle Ridge now with 2 losses on their schedule inside the conference. Garrettsville, Garfield, and Crestview. We had a walk-off for Crestview in their first matchup. They play game 2 tonight on the baseball diamond. That will be fun as well. Poland continues in E8 play against Girard. You find a whole list of the games that are happening today on our scoreboard on ysnlive.com. which is brought to you by our good friends over. Scotty, where is it brought to you by?
Burnett Pool Spas and hot tubs, we've got it all.
Softball side, Fitch and Howland finally getting that game played. That's been waiting on for game 2 for a while. Fitch won game 1 way back in the first couple weeks of the season, 15-13. So now they're going to be playing in Howland for round 2. That'll be a really good one inside the AAC on the softball side. La Brea and McDonald, both teams really projecting well and playing well right now in an inter-MVAC tier matchup tonight. That'll be a fun one in McDonald. Champion hosting Louisville. That's going to be a really fun softball matchup as well. Holy War round 2 at Field of Dreams between Ursuline and Mooney. We saw the baseball side of that last night. Let's see what else we got. Lakeview and Struthers in NE8 play. South Range and Hubbard in NE8 play. Both those teams on a collision course in the NE8, but they both also have to keep pace with each other before that matchup happens tomorrow, Friday, I should say, with South Range going to Lakeview to start off that big NE8 series on Friday. So we had some good ones. Matthews and Maplewood also. Don't want to leave this matchup out. Big one inside the neck. Matthews went to state last year, returning in all those players from their run. Maplewood trying to be a team that can be a state contender with the young roster they've put together this year. They only have 2 losses so far on the season. That'll be a really fun one between the Rockets and Mustangs in Maplewood.
Yeah, a lot of really exciting matchups, Anthony. And I like how you always put it, because I'll ask you, baseball or basketball, whatever, what style game you want to see. You want to see great defense, more offense, and you always just want to see clean game, good game. And I think when you talk about all of these matchups and teams, when in my experiences, calling a game with you last year and getting more into baseball more recently, going to games that seen, I just think it's a lot of times it's does a lot when you could jump out to a lead early. It doesn't mean everything in baseball, but I think it's you can excel quite a bit if you get that early lead, even if it's by a run. I think it just slows the heartbeat down a little bit.
Or if you open the game, if you're the home team and you open with a 1-2-3 inning and you kind of shut down a lineup, that can really get the juices flowing too. We've seen that propel teams in the past. Go right into the offense. You start a game going boom, 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 1-2-3. Maybe you strike out the first batter that you face. That's always a big one too. Scotty, what a great show. We want to thank you for coming on every week as always. But before we go, you know what it is. You know what we do here on YSN Live. It is The Spark, brought to you by Joe Dickey Electric. Scotty, what's your spark today, buddy?
My spark for today, I'm going to go with, I think I have to go with, and I know it's early and I know it's coming off a win last night, so, maybe a little bit of sour grapes from me, but the Guardians right now, just some of the moves they made in the offseason, I think you could call them questionable at best. And Carlos Santana, He's had a great eye his whole career. He walks a lot, gets on base, but you could tell at the plate and average-wise, he's just not even close to what he was, 5, 6, 7 years ago or longer. So I just think, they made a mistake in trading away Josh Naylor. Naylor has an over 300 average right now. Also, they haven't been as good defensively either, losing Andres Jimenez. So much like Pirates fans have blasted the Pirates ownership, I'm just not. I think they have pretty good scouting and they've done a relatively good job, but Paul Dolan, I would like to see just a little more money spent. So
Scotty, wait a minute. Like, the Pirates fans right now are like cursing you up in the air because the Guardians are second in the division and the Pirates are sitting dead last. They're like, don't compare us. Wait a minute. You are still fine. You're still second in the division. You're a game and a half back. Shut up. Pirates are 11-19. You're crying about one play. Carlos Santana might not be hitting as well as you normally. You guys are fine. Stop it.
But I just don't.
Oh, what was me? You talk like the Cleveland's like last in the cellar dweller, having like a.
I don't
8-20 season.
I hope
Scotty.
I don't see them making the playoffs, Ian. I think you're
you and other I can't believe you're basically a month into the season and you're already this giving up. Like they're not a playoff team, even though they're 16-13, a game and a half back of the Tigers. They're not gonna make the playoffs. We suck.
I'm not saying that's not what I'm not saying.
You just said I don't think we're gonna make the playoffs. You guys are fine. Cleveland's fine. You got the pitching. You won last night. You're fine.
Okay. Permission though to roll this tape back if things go sour.
We'll roll the tape back only if you finish worse than the Pirates, since you kind of threw in the Pirates in that conversation and compared yourself to what the Pirates are going through right now.
I guess that was a little.
That's like a Bills fan comparing themselves to the Browns right now, being like, "Oh man, now we know what the Browns are going through because we haven't gotten to a Super Bowl yet with Josh Allen." Because you guys went to the ALCS last year, so
I mean,
exactly the same, Scotty.
But
if the Bills started the season a little bit behind the Patriots, like 3 games in, that would be the comparison right now. And they started to say, I know what the Browns feel like. We're 1-2. We're not going to make the playoffs.
Okay, but the Pirates have won a lot of the Indians/Guardians haven't won a World Series in almost 80 years.
So, Pirates haven't won since what, the 70s?
79.
Okay, it's been forever for both. There's generations that haven't seen either team win a World Series. You're splitting hairs right now. And neither owner was the owner in 79 or in when last time the Guardians won the World Series. And once again, you're a consistent playoff team. You're fine. Stop it. Stop. I'm fighting for Pirates fans because DJ's not here right now. By the way, my spark, since you went on MLB, I'll do it too. Bobby Witt Jr. on a 20-game hitting streak. Let's go. He's carrying our offense right now, and our pitching's doing really good. So hopefully the rest of our offense can back him up eventually.
That's what I mean. I even like your Royals prospects a little more. I don't know. Maybe
and you beat us all but one time this year.
Maybe I'm
twice already.
2 glass empty.
You're
I'm Debbie down.
And the Cavs are doing really, really good. You have every reason to be happy right now as a Cleveland fan, and you're like Debbie Downer. We suck. What's wrong with you?
Yeah, next week I'll try to be more positive.
Next week, here's your homework. Be happier for the Cleveland sports right now because they're okay. And then 2, get your ice bucket challenge done.
Okay, I'll try.
Don't show up next week if you haven't gotten it done.
All right.
We'll boot you. All right, that has been a great episode of YSN Live. We want to thank Rick Seipert for coming on like he does every week. We want to thank Drew Modelski for giving us his time in the middle of the school day to talk to us about his track journey. And, of course, we want to thank Scotty Minter for coming on and giving us some great content like he does every week as well. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. We had great numbers today like we do every week, every day. And we wanted to see you again back here tomorrow at noon for YSN Live. DJ will be back. We'll be back with some fun stuff tomorrow at noon. So make sure to tune in, and we will see you all next time.
YSN thanks you for watching this presentation of Your Sports Network. For stories, stats, and more, go to ysnlive.com.